Okay. So the undesired product produced should be very much minimum. That is the byproducts which are not wanted. Okay, suppose in the alcohol industry, instead of alcohol, lactic acid will be produced. So the unwanted product is the lactic acid, the byproduct. So it should be minimized. Okay, then the problems should be minimized, like the product which is produced, it should be undergone many other processes like purification, it should be sterilized and extraction. There are different methods of the downstreaming processes. So they should, the medium should not interfere with these processes of the downstreaming processes. It should not be toxic, and there are a number of medias which we are going to use, like the cane molasses media, beet molasses, black strip molasses, corn strip molasses, malt molasses. Like this, we are going to use many types of medias for the production. Okay, so the role of media, the media, it should supply nutrition to the microorganisms. It should contain in the media the growth factors, the oxygen content essential for the microorganisms, the nitrogenous content. It should also contain some agents which will act as buffers. Okay, then it should have some antifoam agents like this, the minerals, vitamins, all the things should be present inside the media. So when it is present inside the media, it will support the growth of the microorganisms. When the biomass increases, it will naturally react with all the raw materials and convert them into the products. So in the types of medias, there are two types of medias. We can classify them under two types. One is called as the simple and other one is called as the crude media. Simple is called synthetic and crude is called as the non-synthetic media. So simple media, share. Okay, simple media is a synthetic media where the ingredients you have studied in your third sem, isn't it? The ingredients are definite. The ingredients quantity, concentration is definite. The quality and the quantity is very much known to us. Okay. So in crude media, it is not known to us. It is called as the non-synthetic media. Here we know that it contains carbohydrates, it contains amino acids and many other things essential for the microorganisms, but still it contains some extracts. Here in the extracts, we don't know how much of the growth factors are there, how much of the vitamins are there. So it is, we call this as the crude media or the non-synthetic media, but it contains all the things. The composition is ill defined. We put, so if we say 10 grams of a yeast extract, we know yeast powder is there, but along with that, we don't know how much of the growth factors and other things are there. So we call them as the extract. So we call this as the ill-defined media. It provides all the nutrition for the microorganisms in the nitrogen, amino acids, oxygen, carbon dioxide, carbohydrates, everything it gives. Along with that, it gives some antifoam agents, chelating agents, etc. Okay, so the media is, we classify the media under two types. One is called as the simple media or the synthetic, other one is called as the crude or the non-synthetic media. So now in the media, what are the main components present in the media? So mainly it should have a carbon source. The carbon source is very much essential for the media. So the carbon source will provide the energy and the carbon to the, for the food production, it gives. It gives the energy and also the source, carbon source for the microorganisms. Although, along with that, it will contain some nitrogen sources, some minerals, growth factors, etc. So, carbon sources we classify under the three types. One is a carbohydrate source, other one is by the oils and fats, and other one is by the hydrocarbons. The carbon source is provided to the microorganisms. Okay, so in the carbohydrates, the starch is obtained from the grains. Sucrose is obtained from the sugarcane. So like this, we have the polysaccharides like the starch or the sucrose by different sources. They might be the grains, the potatoes, or the sugarcane. They provide the carbon source to the microorganisms. Next, about the oils and the fats. Here there are different types of oils and fats like olive oil, linseed oil, cotton oil. You have vegetables oil, that is the mustard oil, then tin oil. All these oils and even the animal oil, lard oil, they provide the carbon source for the microorganisms. The next one is the hydrocarbons. As we know, the alkynes and aldehydes, they contain plenty of H and C atoms. They provide the carbon source to the microorganisms. We'll move to the next one. Okay, so this media, it contains, as I told you, it provides large number of carbon, it provides nitrogen sources, it provides the minerals, the growth factors, and the chelating agents, buffer, all these antifoam agents, all these are there in a undesirable concentration. So nitrogen sources means for the production of the purines and the pyrimidines, DNA and RNA, and also the amino acids, number of ammonium salts or urea, etc. may be present in the media. For example, in the corn strip liquor, it contains nitrogen source, soya meal, peanut meal, cotton seed. All this, they provide the nitrogen sources in the media. Minerals means we have, you have studied about the trace elements in your third sem. So the chlorine, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, these are the mineral components, cobalt, iron, magnesium, macro and micro minerals. So they will be present in the media. Some of them will be the trace elements. So their presence stimulates the enzyme production and activates the biomass to convert the raw material to the product. And number of growth factors also will be there, like most of the vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, they provide the growth factors for the microorganisms. So chelating agents are also present. Chelates means these are some agents, they make a complex with the metals, that is like the magnesium, manganese, etc., which are not directly taken by the microorganisms. Okay, so these so these agents, chelating agents like EDTA, citric acid, what do is they make a complex with the metals, and that is easily accepted by the microorganisms. It directly enters through the cell wall of the microorganisms and enters inside the microorganisms, and then those one will stimulate the enzyme or the activities, biochemical activities of the microorganisms. Next one is the buffers. There are different types of buffers, like you know what is a buffer? That is, we talk about the hydrogen ion concentration. So while the reaction is taking place, like suppose if we are producing the wine, we need a pH about 4.5 to 5. So when we need that pH, due to the exothermic reactions, it may heat up the fermentor. Along with the heating of the fermentor, the media pH will also change. I told you, while producing, it may produce lactic acid. So this may increase the pH to the acidic one. So to prevent that, we add, usually the media, this crude media will contain some amount of the buffers. Otherwise, artificially we add the buffers. Then antifoam agents. You know what is antifoam? We have studied in the water microbiology, aquatic microbiology, the foam which is produced at the top, that is the bubble layer which is produced at the top, is called as the foam. This is one of the very disturbance in the fermentation industry. Foam is produced, and this foam, it reduces, it boils and boils, it reduces the raw material quantity. What it will do is, this foam materials, to this the microorganisms gets adhered and they're removed during the process. So to avoid that, we add the anti-foam agents. There are different types of oils. They are used as the anti-foam agents. So this may be present in the crude media in small quantity, or it may be sufficient for the fermentation to take place. If not, we'll be adding it in the raw materials. Then there are metabolic regulators. These are the ones, they usually induce the reactions, or they inhibit the reactions, or they add precursor to the reactions. We'll go to the next one. Okay, so these are the general features which should be present in the media, especially in the crude medias. Now we'll talk about the types of medias. So in that, in the simple medias, we have definite like PDA, Na, all these comes under the simple medias. We'll be talking about the crude medias which has been used as raw materials in the industrial processes. So among them, the first one is the molasses. There are molasses, corn strip liquor, sulfate waste liquor. Then I'll send you a number of pictures. Malt extract, sulfate waste liquor. So these are some of the medias which we are using. So they have got a crude extract, and they are the natural raw materials. So molasses. Molasses is we call this as the mother liquor. Okay. So from the sugarcane juice, we extract the molasses. What happened in the sugar industries? The sugarcane juice is taken, it is crystallized. It is crystallized to form the sugar. Okay. So it is so much, sugarcane is rich with sugar content. It is crystallized, and they remove the types of sugars. It is crystallized again, repeatedly it is crystallized. It is crystallized in such a manner that it has got more impurities which it cannot be further crystallized. So that leftover liquid is called as the molasses. So this molasses, it is very rich with the sugar. Even after it has been used in the sugar industries, the left or the spent or the waste of that sugar industry, the molasses, it contains 52% of sugar. So if you dispose it, it creates BOD and COD in the waters. So it causes pollution. So what we are doing is, we are making use of this molasses into the yeast alcohol fermentation industries. This is taken as a raw material for the alcohol fermentation industries. So this sugar cane, after it has been crystallized, recrystallized, and the waste what we get contains 52% of the sugar. So this is used for the alcohol fermentation industries. So we call this as the molasses. It is brownish in color. So there are two types of molasses. One is called as the black strip molasses, and other one is called as the beet molasses. Okay, so this is rich with the sucrose, sugar, sucrose 52%. So it can be easily utilized by the microorganisms yeast. Okay. You see the composition of the black strip molasses. It contains sucrose, inverter sugars. Along with that, it has the nitrogen, calcium oxide, minerals, ash, vitamins, and many of the vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, etc., folic acid, biotin, etc. All these are essential for the fermentation of, they're used by the microorganisms yeast to increase in the biomass and convert this into the alcohol. Okay, next, another one is beet molasses. Even this is obtained in the same process by the sugar cane, by the sugar industries, where the sugar cane is used. It is crystallized to form the sugar, and the left out, the spent liquor, is called molasses. But in this beet molasses, there is a deficiency of biotin. Your other rest of the things are the same, has the black strip molasses, but only the thing is it does not contain biotin. So while you're using for the fermentation process, you're going to add biotin as a extra component. The next one is the corn steep liquor. It is a extract, water extract. It is obtained from the corn industries. Okay, so it is nothing but it is rich with starch. It is obtained from the corn industries as a product. That is the after it has been used in the for the production of the starch, the left out water, it contains 50% of the solids. It is rich with nitrogen content. It is rich with the lactic acids, vitamins, salts, precursors, glucose, sugars, amino acids, etc. So this liquid is called as the corn steep liquor. Okay. So this is used for the production, for as a raw materials for many of the industrial processes. So I have sent you the table, the composition of sugar beet molasses. You just go through the table and see that the dry matter is about 78 to 85%. You've got sucrose about 48.5%. Then you've got number of trace elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, aluminum, etc. A large number of vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid, biotin, etc. So this is very much useful in the production of the penicillin. Okay. So the next one is sulfate waste liquor. So the name itself tells sulfate waste liquor. It is a waste water which is obtained by the paper and the pulp industries. Okay, so this liquid, it is paper and pulp industry. It is raw material is the cellulose. The cellulose from two types of forest, the trees, that is from the coniferous forest and from the deciduous forest. Deciduous trees are the coniferous trees. From these trees, the cellulose or the wood pulp is used for preparing the papers. It is used in the paper and the pulp industries, where the paper and many other things are produced. So the waste of this, what happens here in the paper industry, it is treated with the bisulfate. Okay, calcium bisulfate is used while preparing the paper. So in that case, the waste product will contain large number of sulfate waste. So this is a pollutant. We cannot directly dispose it into the environment. So this is used. It is rich with sulfate. It is rich with the cellulose materials. So it is used as a raw materials for number of industries. Okay. So here, because of that, it is used in the number of industries as a raw materials. Then afterwards, these microorganisms will ferment the sulfur waste liquor into the minimum component of the minimum organic and inorganic valued component. Then it can be easily disposed. The wastewater can be easily disposed. So the next one is the malt extract. All this have given the table for you. I have given the tables, and you can go through the tables. What is the concentration of the dry weight and many other things. Okay. Next one is the malt extract. So even this is a wastewater which is obtained from the barley. Okay, the malted barley. And it is a very good substance. It contains 90 to 92% of carbohydrates, ammonia, then purines, pyrimidines, nitrogenous bases, peptides. All these are present. Okay, the disaccharides are present here. So this can be a rich source for number of other industries. Then these are the types of the raw materials. What are the things, other things which we are using in the fermentation media? We are going to use anti-foam agents. So as I told you, foam is one of the very much difficulty used in the fermentation industry. So in this foam, it has got a few defects. What does the foam does is it lowers the surface tension. It removes the cells. You know, they are nothing but they are the bubbles which has been formed, and these bubbles remove the cells. Along with the bubbles, the skimmed surface, it removes the cells. You have uncontrolled physical biological problems, like it may interfere with the purification process. Then it will reduce the volume, working volume. There is a loss of product. In the working volume, the microorganisms are removed, raw materials are removed, so there is a loss of production. So the cell deposition may be seen to the sites. So there is a loss of production here also. Okay. So this anti-foam agents. So for this, these are the problems of a foam in the industry. So what we should do is we should so what we'll do is we should work with the foam anti-foam agents. So this anti-foam agents will go with the slide. Wait. Hmm? ಯಾವುದು ಬೇರೆ slide ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. It is going to a different slide. Mostly ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. It's going to the back slides. ಇದು ನೋಡಿದಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಅದೇ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದೇ. Okay, so this to this we are going to reduce the foam, we are going to add the anti-foam agents. So these anti-foam agents should have certain characteristics, like it should be very cheap to use, and when you add it to the media, it should disperse very fastly and it should bring the reaction. Okay, so it should be added in very low concentration because it is a chemical, and the action should be very fast, and the action should be for a longer period till the fermentation is completed. So this should not be toxic, it should not cause any purification, it should not be toxic, or it should not interfere with the purification process. It should be very easy to sterilize and to use. So these important characteristics, mainly its prolonged effect, and quickly it should disperse, and it should bring about the effect of the anti-foam agent effect. That is very much important. So there are a number of anti-foam agents which has been used. We call them as inert anti-foam agents and organic anti-foam agents. So in this inert anti-foam agents, they are normal agents, anti-foam agents. ಇನ್ನೂ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀರೇನ್ರಿ? So inert anti-foam agents are silicons, sulfonates. They are not metabolized by the microorganisms. Come in. They are not metabolized by the microorganisms. Okay. So the other type of anti-foam agents are the organic anti-foam agents. They are lard oil, corn oil, linseed oil, olive oil, liver oil, long chain alcohols, esters, etc. But the problem is with the organic anti-foam agents is, it is because they are oils, it is very difficult to sterilize them. Okay, even if it is sterilized, they may evaporate. So it is difficult to sterilize and it is used. But the other, like silicon, sulfonates, it is very easy to add them directly to the raw material, and we can use it directly. Okay. The next one is the precursors. What are precursors? They are some chemicals, and these are directly added to the raw materials. What do they do is, they get incorporated. Okay, these materials, they get incorporated into the final product. So we call them as the precursors. So I have sent a table. Nimgon table kalside nodi ali. Some important precursors. So phenyl acetic acid for the production of penicillin G, and the microorganism is Penicillium chrysogenum. So like this, see, in the chloride is added for the chlorotetracycline. So this chlorine gets attached to the tetracycline and forms chlorotetracycline. So these are advanced compounds. Instead of penicillin, we use penicillin G. Okay. Instead of penicillin, we may use penicillin V. So like this, there are number of types of the penicillins which has got better effects than the original penicillin. So this we call them as the precursors. So along with that, we have inducers. Okay, so the next one is the inducers. These inducers means they are extra substances. They are added to the raw materials, but their presence induces the chemical reaction, induces or converts the raw materials to the product. Okay, so here the extra materials which we induce, they are called as the inducers. There might be some substrates like starch, dextrins, some enzymes, amylases. ಇನ್ನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ BMBT ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿಲ್ಲಂತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಲಿಂಕ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ವಂತೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಇವಾಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, 1:30ಗೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓ ಗಾಡ್.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು
ಯಾರು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ? ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪುಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ದ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಅಂಜು ಶೇರ್
Okay. So these are the inducers are nothing but they're the external substances. So what do they do is they induce the biochemical reactions and converts the raw materials to the product. Okay. So there are a number of enzymes like I have sent you a table 4.7 nodi, amylase, cellulase, nitrase, like this. So these are they induce the production of the starch, maltose, etc. within the microorganisms and bring the reaction. So the next one is you have inhibitors. So these inhibitors are the substances that you have in your third sem you have studied about feedback enzymes, right? Feedback enzymes odidira, enzymes which during the process somewhere an enzyme is produced that will stop the production. For example, iga one the reaction, fermentation reaction has got 4 steps. 4 steps ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ಆದರೆ ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ದ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಬದಲು ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. So like this, inhibitors, there are different types of inhibitors and they may stop the reactions. Like suppose if I want a byproduct, nange alcohol beda, nange lactic acid production beko, I will use a inducer that will stop the reaction to converting it to alcohol. Rather than alcohol, lactic acid will be produced. So hege number of enzymes, organic acids, they can produce with the help of the inducers. Next is the buffering agents. You know what is a buffer? Buffer andre it will control the pH in the reactions. Usually most of the microorganisms, they are within 5.7 to 6.7 within the neutral range. Okay, so during the process of the fermentation there might be a change in the acid or the alkaline content of the reaction. So when there is a change, then this change will disturb the microorganisms. The microorganisms will not be able to work under this increased pH. So in that condition, the microorganisms, the buffering agents will control the increase in the acidity or increase in the alkalinity, bring it to the original pH. It will maintain the original pH. Constant maintenance of the pH is done by the buffering agents. So all this antifoam agents, inducers, buffering agents, precursors, depending upon the reaction. When you check the reaction for every 10 hours or 5 hours, when you regularly, routinely check and see whether the fermentation is taking place in a smooth condition with the valid with a valid pH temperature and all. If there is any change in these things, then you can go, this type of materials will be added to the raw materials. Okay, so along the, usually the crude media will contain some of the contents of this, but still if we want, if the pH is increasing high, then we'll add the buffering agents. If the antifoam is, if the foam formation is taking place in a more rapid thing which cannot be controlled, then we go with the antifoam agents. If you want another product like from tetracycline, you want a chloro tetracycline, then you add chlorine as a precursor. So, okay, so these are the raw materials usually or which are used in the industrial fermentation. So in the exam, the main question may be asked the raw materials used in the fermentation industries. Then you're supposed to write from the types of the medias, corn strip mix, all that with examples, with the precursors, inducers, buffers. Till that you should end with the answer. Okay. Or we may ask for 3 marks or 5 marks, short answers, like antifoam agents will be asking. Then you're supposed to tell about the antifoam agents. You're buffering, you're going to talk about the buffers. So this can be asked for the short note questions. Okay. So any doubts in this chapter? Ayyo, what is this? ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಹೇಳಿ, any doubts ಅಂತ?